I'm a bad motherfucker.
Oh, my
So
favorite.
Robert De Niro was out in Los Angeles and did the Bill Maher show, and he wanted to let you know that he hates Trump again. Now, the reason why he hates Donald Trump is because Donald Trump is in him. That's why he's able to play all those characters that he think are Trump-like, because he's in his shadow. And so instead of his conscious mind being aware that that's in him, De Niro projects that onto Donald Trump. Every ugly thing that's inside of his unconscious and his shadow, as Carl Jung would call it, he projects it onto Donald Trump. And so the people who are the most triggered, I'm not triggered by Donald Trump. I'm triggered by a system that would elevate Donald Trump, meaning the Clintons. They're the ones who told him to run for president. They're the ones who encouraged him. And the capitalistic media that gave him $2 billion in free media. $2 billion. And why? Well, the president, Les Moonves, said, and the president of CBS said, hey, Donald Trump is good for CBS. He might be bad for America, but he's good for CBS. Run, baby, run. And everybody cheered.
That sums up, by the way, the actual problem is that.
Yes.
There's influencers right now showing off their new Lambo that hate Donald Trump, that don't understand that's exactly what it is that Trump does. They like, oh, look at my wealth.
So I'm upset at a system that hollows out the middle class, exports our manufacturing base, so we have nothing but service jobs and a shit economy, and then blames people for being desperate enough to vote for a billionaire game show host, real estate agent. They blame the people, they blame him. They don't blame the system that gave us him. If he's such a maniac, why did NBC give him a TV show for like, what was it, 13, 17 years? They gave him Emmy nominations. Every Hollywood star would come and kneel and call him Mr. Donald, Mr. Trump. He was invited on the Saturday Night Live had him on. He guest hosted their show. But all of a sudden, and before I play this, I'm just going to recommend that Robert De Niro has Martin Scorsese write all of his dialogue from now on, not in movies, but in real life, and you'll find out why.
Bottom line is, it's Biden versus Trump. We want to live in a world that we want to live in and enjoy living in, or live in a nightmare. Vote for Trump, and you'll get the nightmare. Vote for Biden. So
this isn't a nightmare that we're living in right now, that where senior citizens can only take half their medicine. People are spending 30 to 50% of their income on rent. People are living in the streets everywhere. 90% of Americans have medical debt. Half of America can't afford a $1,000 emergency. 50% of all wage earners earn $30,000 or less. This is the great world you're talking about?
Yes.
Somehow a nightmare will come.
GDP is up, Jimmy.
We just went through unbelievable fascism where their whole 41% of black businesses wiped out because of big pharma fascism and the lockdowns, mandated and experimental medical treatments. Somehow it's going to get worse. The economy, here we go.
He knows about that.
And
he knows about that.
He knows about that because he had a film festival that talked about vax injuries, and they made him pull it from his own film festival, even though he knows that there's something to it. Here we go.
And we'll be back to normalcy.
Yeah.
Be back to normalcy. Well, he's been president for 3 years. I thought we were supposed to be back to normal.
That was back to normalcy. The adults are back in the room.
If by normal you mean they have to keep our president on a toddler tether harness until they can find someone who doesn't actually shit himself while they're talking.
Yeah.
So why is Trump winning? I mean, the New York Times poll this week came out, and maybe this will change it with the State of the Union address. But
so why is Trump winning? They're asking the least informed guy in America. Next to Chris Cuomo is Robert De Niro. I don't know if you remember. I should have that video. I don't, but I showed it to you before. He was on with Brian Stelter on CNN. And he said, oh, Trump's the worst thing in the world. I hate him. He's the worst thing. And Brian Stelter actually asked a real question. He goes, what is it specifically about Trump don't you like? He said, I don't know.
It's just a feeling.
He goes, I just don't like him.
No, he said he has a feeling. It's just the feelings that I have.
Yeah.
His feelings.
His feelings. Don't want to feel? Here we go.
But Trump was beating him rather soundly. It was quite a warning light, 48-43, also winning way more among women than he had before, winning outright Latinos. What do you attribute that to?
He's got more Latino voters voting for him. He's got women. What do you say to that? What do you say? It's not like, maybe I'm missing something? Do you think that goes through either of these idiots'
They're
heads?
so close to the answer.
So close. Maybe it's us. Maybe it's the system that has let these people down.
I don't know. I just don't.
I
want
don't
to
know.
feel
I think they're all jerks.
I don't know. I feel this way. He says this is what he says every
the
time.
way we
Too.
I don't know. I just don't want to feel the way I did, and many of us don't.
What are you, a groundhog?
Don't want it to feel the way you did. Don't. Did Donald kill your harvest mood?
He doesn't know. He just doesn't want to feel the way. That's amazing to be that impassioned.
Here we go. And by the way, Bill Maher, it's not Hispanics, it's Latinx's.
Yeah,
okay?
Latino. Come on, Bill.
Come on, Latinos.
Latin X.
So they don't know. He has no idea.
After the election in 2016, where we couldn't believe that it happened, the guy is a total monster. And anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they.
He just keeps saying, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand. Why would half the country be okay with this? Why would the majority of Hispanics be okay with it? Why would women be okay with this? I'm not asking. And I'm going to spend. I'm not going to ask them, and I'm going to spend 0 minutes trying to figure it out.
But I will strongly complain about it.
So you're saying that Donald Trump is a monster. You mean a bigger monster than George Bush and Dick Cheney? A bigger monster than Barack Obama, who kicked 5.1 million families out of their houses during the banking crisis while he made sure the bankers got their bonuses? While he gave us a right-wing healthcare plan, was nothing but a giveaway to big insurance and big pharma?
I don't know.
While he let it play out at DAPL when the protesters were protesting oil pipes underneath their land to pollute their water? When Barack Obama went on to drop more bombs than George W. Bush?
I don't know. I feel it.
It's just a feeling.
I couldn't tell you.
This is projection.
I couldn't tell you why women would vote for Trump.
Behind that kind of logic, they want to fuck with people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person.
So, but you know what? So when Joe Biden crushed the railroad strike, that was him doing it with shits and giggles. It was all about fairy tales and chocolate chips.
He just means his friends.
What are you talking?
He's talking about people he knows personally.
You know the reason why black and brown people are locked up at way higher rates than their population? Do you think that's because of Donald Trump? That's because of Joe Biden. Who's the bigger monster to black and brown people who are in prisons? That would be Joe Biden. Donald Trump actually passed the Step Act, which let a lot of those people out of prison. So this is just a fiction that Robert De Niro invents because he is Donald Trump, just like Cenk Uygur is Donald Trump, just like Keith Olbermann is Donald Trump. They're ego fucking maniacs who project that onto Donald Trump because they can't hate themselves, but they can hate that thing.
In fairness, Trump does seem to know a few more things than De Niro.
He certainly does. So here we go.
I never play him as an actor.
What?
Because I can't see any good in him.
He just played a guy that killed natives with poison. He just played a guy that slowly poisoned natives to death to steal their oil money.
What? But I guess there was something good inside that guy. Well, and Al Capone, by the way.
Yeah, he was played by me, so that was good. And Trump will never be played by me, so there's nothing good in him.
Nothing at all. Nothing redeemable in him. And we have to...
No Trump coupons?
And whoever the people are who want to vote for him, and there look like intelligent people around there, somebody, for some reason, it can't be. It cannot be. If he wins the election, You won't be on the show anymore. He'll come look.
Why? So if he already won an election, and Donald Trump did not go after his people who were his political enemies.
He's going to come after De Niro.
What? He's going to come after Bill Maher's show on HBO. He won't be hosting this show. What do you think's going to happen? And why didn't Donald Trump do it the first time? Donald Trump was already president. He couldn't even get his own vice president to go along with half his shit.
For me, there'll be
He's serious.
things that happen that none of us can imagine.
Why didn't any of those things happen in his first term?
Well, he can't imagine.
None of those things, the things that none of us can imagine, why didn't they happen in his first term?
Happens in that kind of a dictatorship, which is what he says. Let's believe.
I didn't know that. I thought we had a system called checks and balances. We have a constitution, and we have co-equal branches of government, so that you can never have a dictator. So at any moment, Joe Biden could just declare himself a dictator? Really? So Bill Clinton could have declared himself a dictator, but he decided to let himself be impeached anyway, just for kicks? So Nixon could have just declared himself a dictator, but he let himself get kicked out of office? These are moronic, fantastical delusions of people who are Donald Trump. If you're looking at a guy, you want to know who he is in his unconscious, in his shadow, he is Donald Trump. He is the thing that he projects onto Donald Trump. Just like Keith Olbermann, just like Cenk Uygur, the people who are most triggered by him, you can learn a lot about yourself, not only by the things you love, but by the things you hate, because all that stuff is inside you.
And take him at his word.
I did from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I said from the very beginning, this guy is never going to.
Yeah, you got to take him at his word that he's
I
going
thought he's a liar and he doesn't tell the truth. What are you talking about?
But now I take him at his word, and I always did.
No, you didn't. Why would you have done that?
Concede power, and he still hasn't.
No,
Wait a minute. Okay, I got to watch this.
He's not going to concede power, and he still hasn't.
He said he's not going to concede power. I didn't know. Is Donald Trump still president? Oh, wait. He walked out of the White House like he's supposed to after he lost the election. That's what happened. Donald Trump didn't he didn't order the military down to the Capitol to stop the counting of the ballots or the certification of the election. He didn't do any of that.
That's why they didn't have a real trial for that.
That's why they
Congress did for show on TV.
That's why
not a legal trial.
That's exactly right. That's why they had the January 6th show trial instead of a real trial where they tried Donald Trump for insurrection. Why? Because he didn't do anything. There wasn't an insurrection.
Or maybe cross.
There was a bunch of unarmed people who showed up at the Capitol to protest, and half of them who went into the Capitol got pushed in by the FBI plants in the crowd, and the other half got let in by the cops who were taking selfies with them and leading them around the Capitol. So this you'll love to hear this. Oh, he'll never leave office. He'll never concede power. He already did. He already left. He's not president right now. I don't know if you noticed.
No. And he still hasn't. He just admitted he lost the last election, and he advertises that he will go on. He says he's been cheated out of one term, so maybe we should get rid of a president only gets 2 terms thing. So
he's a sociopathic, psychopathic, malignant narcissist.
That is exactly what Robert De Niro actually happens to be.
Well, if you were smart,
that's exactly what Robert De Niro is, and that's called projection. And if Trump is such a sociopathic psychopath, then why were the Clintons and him such good friends?
Right.
They were golf buddies. They all went to each other's. They went to Trump's third wedding.
Their daughters were best friends.
Their daughters are best friends. In fact, the Clintons called up Donald Trump and encouraged him to run for president. So if he's such a sociopathic, malignant, narcissist, psychopath, why were Bill and Hillary Clinton such buddies with him? Why did NBC give him a hit television show for over a decade? Why did Why did the people in Hollywood give him Emmy nominations? Why did all the stars from Hollywood go and call him Mr. Trump and go on his television show? Why was he invited on every late night talk show host for my entire lifetime? Why was he allowed to guest host the SNL on NBC? If he's such a sociopathic, psychopathic, narcissistic, malignant, you tell me, why were the Clintons such good friends with him? Why does half the country want to vote for him? Actually, more than half the country, which is what makes you guys afraid, because you know he'll win the election, because nobody wants to vote for demented Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
All those years we were hanging out with Donald Trump, all those 50 years we were hanging out with Donald Trump, we had no idea he was crazy. Now we do. Why? Because of the way he governed like a regular Republican? What did Donald Trump do, though? You know what he did do? He didn't start another war.
Do actors think they're not sociopaths, like famous actors? Like, a psychopath is you're born as that. A sociopath is when you follow certain rules, but just not like, you know, the general rules of society, like a mobster, like the character he would play as in Goodfellas. Joe Pesci was a psychopath. He and the other guys are sociopaths.
Yeah.
To be an actor, first of all, Harvey Weinstein, how many of you are giving a kiss, peck on the cheek to Harvey Weinstein? What are you talking about?
Again, that's pretending that Joe Biden isn't a sociopathic, narcissistic psychopath.
Who would be president? Who isn't? How would you ever become president without being that?
I agree with that assessment. Also, who do you think has a bigger kill list, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Who do you think screwed over workers more, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Who do you think screwed over black and brown people more, Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
Trick question, Obama.
The answer to all those questions are Joe Biden. Who do you think screwed over students? Joe Biden. Joe Biden has a 40, 50-year record of screwing over working class people, screwing over minorities, screwing over students, screwing over the elderly, screwing over everybody. He has got a track record. In fact, he's such a sociopathic liar that he wasn't allowed to run for president he had to drop out from running for president the first time because he got caught lying so many times over and over and plagiarizing other politicians' speeches that he got humiliated out of the first time he ran for president.
Word for
word. He is a dangerous person. And we have to people realize, a lot of people, this audience, but the people who somehow think he's going to be the answer to their prayers, whatever those are.
Did you know
God
him
knows.
when
I don't
prayers
know
for you to explode, dude.
I don't know of anybody who thinks Donald Trump is the answer to their prayers. I certainly don't.
They want to watch you cry.
I think we have when it comes to Gaza and Israel, we have the option of the lesser of two genociders because they share the exact same policy. We're going to let Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel do whatever they want. The only thing is Donald Trump has pledged to end the war in Ukraine. Whether he will or not, I don't know.
Hey, why are women voting for him? All he has told them they don't exist for the last 4 years. We don't even know what they are.
Yeah, that's
how did they ever turn?
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, we told women that there's no such thing as a woman. Maybe that's
really?
why.
I mean,
maybe that's
really
why
whoever says it. It's like being a citizen. Whoever just says it.
as fellow New Yorkers?
Never wanted to know him.
Never wanted to.
No.
You must have
He was
crossed.
an idiot. He was a clown. He was a clown in New York. And
What do you mean clown? Like funny like a clown? Is that what you mean?
He amused you.
This validates my theory that Trump has been enacting biblical level revenge on the ones in high society who treated him like he was Joe Pesci in Goodfellas.
100%. Obama made a wisecrack about it. No, I don't think Trump could run. And Trump was in the audience. I fully believe Trump took that personally, and that's why I call from the Clintons, hey, you should run. Probably really got him to run. And because he's a winner, whether you like him or not, because in his head he's one of those guys like, I always win. He went all the way, and you didn't think he would, and now you're upset. Kind of like COVID.
Joe Biden is to America what Leonardo DiCaprio's character was to Oklahoma. He was the one who had to do all the actual killing. That's what Joe Biden is.
Oh, I thought you were going to say closeted gay guy.
Ah. And by the way, the film Killers of the Harvest Moon was so long, I call it Enter Detainment. So I think he's got some more stupid shit to say. By the way, is Robert De Niro, is he suffering from lead poisoning? Because that's what it seems like.
Yeah, paint chips. Why would
New Yorkers say,
why is Bill Maher asking someone who knows even less than him? That's really amazing.
So yeah,
you can't blame it on him.
So
on De Niro.
Just to keep track of where we're at, Kurt, Bill Maher and Kid Rock both have the same basic understanding of world events. And both of them are geniuses compared to Robert De Niro.
This makes no sense.
Some would go with him, of course, people who work in what he does, some of them. But it's just, he's a classic bully. If you had a schoolyard and he walked in and he had his bully friends around, the other people decide whether they want to oppose him or they want to let him just tell him what to do and own the schoolyard or the basketball court or whatever it is. He's got to be stopped.
Wow, he's NATO. He literally is NATO.
He's NATO.
A bully and you describe geopolitical events like you were in that movie Being There, like that slow guy.
Yes, we just watched that movie.
Yeah.
What Robert De Niro just described was NATO and the United States military for the last 50 years.
That's great.
That's exactly what he just described.
No one has been honest with Robert De Niro for the last
50 years.
Yeah. Not one person ever tells him, Robert, come on. Everyone has sucked up to him for so long that this poor fucker doesn't know anything about anything. That's what happens. He's like a really pretty girl, but he's an old man.
Talking to Robert De Niro is like talking to my old roommate. It's like talking to anybody who watches MSNBC and CNN and thinks that they're getting the news from them.
You lived with a very old man?
Okay, over to Steph.
You talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
You talking to me, Jimmy? You talking to me? That was good, right? Nice throw.
Why would you have him on to talk about his feelings on Trump? Like, why would you do
Misha,
that?
are you saying that I should prepare people now?
Prepare people for what?
We're going to go over to Rumble.
We're going to go to Rumble?
Yeah, I'm preparing
my
them
God.
right now. I'm going to prepare you. I'm preparing you emotionally. We're going to go to Rumble.
Oh, it's come
I'm
so
preparing
quickly.
you, okay? So
Rumble
I'm going to
time.
read.
Hey, but when we come, hang on, stay on, Steph.
Stay on me.
Stay on,
Anyways,
Steph.
I got to tell you this. I know a lot of people didn't watch the Hala Oscars or something like that, but I have to tell you, it's like, wasn't it shocking that they even had Jimmy Kimmel on it? Like after the big hubbub over Kevin Hart. All right, back to Jim.
Let me say this about the Oscars. There is something about Jimmy Kimmel that bothers me, and I think it's because he's so barely talented.
Yeah.
He's got, I mean,
he was only charismatic with Ben Stein.
And
that slow talking motherfucker?
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel's like the wild man next to Ben Stein's
He was the
money.
wild, he was.
Win Ben Stein's money, yeah.
But it really is. And now so to watch him host the Oscars with all that unearned confidence is just so amazing. And you know, they all did a podcast, right? Didn't they all? Jim,
all the top late night
so
talk shows did a podcast
when
the writer's strike.
So it reminds me like how these shows like Seth Meyers.
Oh, he's one of the greats.
Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Kimmel Show. People like how do these people have successful television shows? And it reminds me of that episode on Seinfeld when they were pitching their TV show to the NBC executive, and and they go, "It's going to be a show about nothing." And the NBC executive turns to George Costanza and says, "Why would someone want to watch this?" And he goes, "Because it's on TV."
Yeah.
And that's why people watch these shows. Because they're on TV, they're promoted, they're on billboards, they get a commercial shot at them out of cannons, and they have big shot celebrities on with them all the time. And so that's why people watch these shows.
Not that many people.
And by the way, not that many people. Greg Gutfeld.
Yeah, number one.
Blows all of those shows away.
I mean, that's you know how crazy that is. A cable.
Greg Gutfeld, who's not even a comedian. Greg Gutfeld,
Yeah.
not
It's
even
the
a
#1 late night comedy.
#1 late night comedy show is Greg Gutfeld. Blows those. He's would he call himself a comedian? He would call
Yeah,
himself a TV host, right?
No,
Greg
well,
Gutfeld?
They say it's a comedy show now for sure.
Okay, well,
I'm doing it on the 28th.
Well, he certainly is. His comedy certainly as good as all those other ones. I'll tell you that.
all these people are only as good as their writers. Okay,
So when they
that's what they are.
That's-
But like Conan was a writer, and the other guy, who's the other? Oh, Seth Meyers was a writer. It's still hoity-toity, like Harvard Lampoon kind
So-
of people. But Kimmel, like he's just a guy, like a James Corden, a guy you put words in, and can be gregarious, and that's it.
So when COVID happened and the lockdowns happened, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, and was it Stephen Colbert? They all did a podcast together. Did you know
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I think I laughed at it.
Did you know that nobody watched it?
I guess.
So
we
that's
all
my whole
guessed.
point. Like if those guys had to do their own show from scratch to make someone watch it, no one would. No one would watch their show.
Why would they even be after all the hullabaloo about all these white guys and the comedy and they control comedy? It's still all white guy late night TV. That was not touched by the great wave of don't hire white guys. Isn't that amazing? Probably because why would you get rid of your useful corporate tools to blather nonsense like human ad copy readers? Why would they ever risk that? Why seriously? Why
They got
are they
Trevor
not
Noah
replaced
to
by
do
women
it.
by now?
They could get. I mean, they got Trevor Noah on Comedy Central to do it.
That was Jon Stewart's bleeding heart, not to sabotage Daily Show like you might have thought because you're cynical. He literally thinks like that. Oh well, not an American person of color,
Not an
of which
American.
there's plenty. I'm gonna get this guy with an accent because the circles I travel in, they think James Corden's good. Oh, he's got a foreign accent. He must be better. We got to import him over here.
So
I like the way he sings. Anyways, back to
so,
Jimmy.
so contrast Jimmy Kimmel's hosting with Ryan Gosling. Now Ryan Gosling bothers me for a different reason. The reason why
The boners
the-
you get.
the reason
That's
why-
I don't like him.
the reason why I'm almost disgusted by Ryan Gosling is because it's just shows you how unequal life really is. That guy is so talented. He's been not given. He can sing. He can dance. He can act. He can do drama. He can do comedy, and he's gorgeous. Right?
So it is
he's
a
like
boner.
it is. Oh, definitely. I can't believe it.
His song last night.
His song
was
last
hilarious.
night. That was, I stopped working to watch him do that song, and I was like, "This guy, it brings up levels of jealousy I didn't even know that were
Oh,
possible."
well, I'm gonna fix that for you right now. You know, he started out as a Disney Channel kid, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So he's going through things you can't fucking imagine to get what you're jealous of. He's suppressing shit to happen to him. Leo DiCaprio, he's suppressing some shit.
So do you?
Yeah.
So your theory? So what's Kurt's talking about is
If you just have your kids on Disney, that's
your
human
theory is
trafficking.
that you know how when you have to go into Skull and Bones, they do all that stuff, or they jam. You know, when you just joining a regular frat, they make you jam shit up your ass and eat cum off of pita bread and all kind of
Off
stuff.
PETA. Where'd you go to school? Yemen?
You've never heard about that?
I heard the Ookie Cookie. I never heard the.
You ever heard of the
PETA.
elephant walk? You know what that is? The elephant walk is just to get into a frat. Think about what it is to get into the Harvard and Yale Skull and Bones.
You have to stick your dick in Geronimo's skull and
this
lay in a
is-
coffin and tell your sexual problems to the bros.
So this is what the elephant walk is. This is just a regular frat. They all get naked
Mhm.
and they all get in a circle and they put one thumb in their mouth
Okay.
and one thumb in the asshole of the guy in front of them, and they start walking in circles.
That's pretty
And
cool.
then when the guy says, they have to switch thumbs.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know it was that great.
Yeah. They have a contest where they masturbate onto a pita bread, and the last one to ejaculate has to eat the pita bread. Did
I
you
never heard it with PETA. I know with a cookie.
cookie
Neither
pita?
of those things makes a difference to me. by
It
the way.
doesn't. The vehicle doesn't matter, Kurt. You're getting caught
The
up.
medium.
You're getting caught up in the weeds. Have you heard any of this, Misha? You've never heard any of this.
Really?
I haven't either.
You haven't heard any of this?
No.
I hope it's not done anymore. I hope those are just old practices.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't
But
do.
I don't think he had to do that. I'm just saying, you're a child actor. Your best case scenario, you manage to dodge all the dicks flying at your face as a small child trying to act, because they all have the same story. And all these people have the same story. Shirley Temple, there's a story of her going in office, little Shirley Temple back in the 30s, and the producer just dropped his pants, and she laughed so hard that he had her leave the room so she wasn't molested. That's what one of her, all old Hollywood stories are the craziest shit you ever heard. And it's not a special ceremony. It's what it is. It's a thing for like old rich guys to pay people for fantasies, and you know, their fantasies can get real dark.
So coming up, when we switch over to Rumble, we're going to be talking about how Breaking Points has officially become MSNBC.
Finally, congratulations!
Congratulations to them. Candace Owens.
Oh my God.
Candace Owens wrecks Chris Cuomo. Wrecks him.
I mean, I don't want to say that. It's like a caring preschool teacher talking to a problem idiot.
That's right. It was like
Honey.
she actually tried to protect him. And a lot more when we come back. Over to Steph. I'm putting a lot of my money, my retirement money, into precious metals, gold and silver. Why? Because lots of people I trust with money, Max Kaiser's one of them. He's a big Bitcoin guy, and he told me gold is a good hedge against inflation, and gold is a good hedge against the stock market. And so did Carol Roth said that. And then also, who's the guy who wrote the book from Maui, my friend? Why am I blanking on his name? Ed Dowd. So they all said this. So I'm with them. And so I'm putting that into this. And I decided to partner with our sponsor to do this, Colonial Metals Group. They're helping me set up a secure, self-directed IRA where I have access to my assets no matter what the stock market and no matter what the government's doing. So let a team of experts at Colonial Metals Group help you protect your family's future. We've put together a special offer for our audience. Get this offer. Listen to this. You click on the link in the description below or call a special 800 number and you'll receive a safe and up to $10,000 in free silver. Then the number to call is 888-910-1419. 888-910-1419, or go to colonialsmetalgroup.com/Jimmy-Dore-Show.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy.